Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome from Palm Desert, California. Woo-hoo.
Welcome to Tea Time with EESH
And Juan Michael. Cheers.
Cheers.
Now you may be wondering, what tea are you drinking? Well, I'm drinking green tea, loose leaf green tea that we got from San Francisco, Chinatown, and lemons from our backyard. Juan, he's drinking loose leaf green tea as well, but like a fruity berry tea bag with honey from Georgia honey.
Georgia honey. Boop, boop. High quality honey is very important. So make sure you have high quality honey and you get it from a reputable supplier. You can look online, look for local farms and buy honey from them. And it is so delicious.
And test your honey.
What's the tester honey?
Test your honey.
How do you test your honey? What are you talking about?
You test your honey by putting honey in water, and then you swirl it around, and if it like dissolves immediately, then that's sugar.
Oh man.
Sugar.
So how do you know if it's real honey?
You know if it's real honey when you start swirling it, and then you see the honey holds memory of the honeycomb that it used to live in.
So what happens? What does it mean that it remembers where it used to live in?
It creates a honeycomb look. So if anyone's ever eaten honey, what are they? Honeycombs, right?
Yeah.
Honeycombs, the cereal. The honeycomb looks like a hexagon. Hexagon? It has 6 sides. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5.
No, I think I did it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Our geometry majors let us know if we got that right.
But it looks like a honeycomb, and if I didn't say what a honeycomb looks like properly, then look up what a honeycomb looks like. It's easy. There's Google.
You can also look up how to test your honey on YouTube. There's like 2-minute videos that show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Pretty simple, but it's really cool. There's a lot of fake honey out there.
There's a lot of fake honey out there. Be careful.
Be careful. Now, if you have some fake honey, and we're not here to name any brands.
Okay.
We're not saying any of these brands are fake honey because we don't know. Test your honey. Sometimes they get suppliers that give them fake honey.
And maybe they don't know.
Right? That they got a supply of fake honey. Right? So let's not accuse any companies. Not get targeted for libel and slander.
Okay.
Just test your honey. If you don't happen to get good honey, go to a local source and get your honey from there. And test that as well, right? But if you know your farmer, if you know the person you're getting your honey from, they're probably going to give you real honey and not go through the process of making fake honey.
That takes a lot of time and effort.
It takes a lot of time and effort. Now, for most small-time farmers, it may not be worth the time and effort because bees, that's what they do already. Like, that's part of their job. Like, they need bees and take care of the bee homes. And collecting honey is part of that process. So why would they do that whole process and then give you fake honey unless they needed more honey because they kept selling out? So that would make sense. So it could happen to anybody. So just test your honey wherever you get it. You know?
Spiraling. So anywho. What's going on with these tea times? Why are we doing tea time? Juan Michael, aka Amorcito, aka Habibi.
So tea times are a way for us to decide our creative direction for the day, what we want to do with our day and also with our business, and us discuss like what actionable steps we can take throughout the day. It's kind of like our morning meeting,
Mm.
and what do we want to accomplish and what things look like. Now we are at the very beginning and founding of the Desert Consulting
Your Main Character University podcast.
and Main Character University podcast. So we have a lot of creative direction as to where we can go with it. What can we do? What do we want to do? We can do a lot of things. So today, this morning, I want to go over kind of a
Personal.
I want to go over a year-long possible plan that we can do to implement to create content, create courses based off of the content we create, and then slowly move forward and tackle the whole pie. And using my healing journey, using your healing journey, each, and the things that we learned along the way. For example, for me, when I was 24 years old,
This was what?
2022,
2021?
2021, 2022, I got very sick. Very, very sick. I was throwing up every single day. Started throwing up blood. I was in a really bad place mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I didn't listen to my emotions. I would suppress them. I worked in sales. I sold Medicare insurance. So I would hear sob stories every day. And Medicare is a very highly scrutinized, or what's it called?
They just really make sure that
Seniors are safe, that they're not getting frauded. So the government
and
is on
protected,
top of it very strongly.
Every insurance goes off of what Medicare rules and standards and guidelines are.
And so I would sell private Medicare insurance. So it's your Medicare Part C, I believe, Part C and Part D. Medicare Part A and Part B are provided by the government. That covers 80%. 20% isn't covered, and that's where Medicare Part C and Part D come in.
So those are extra plans to cover you 100%, whereas if you were just to be on a Medicare A and B plan, you're only ever going to be covered at 80%, and you're still stuck with 20% to cover of the claim or the bill.
And 20% may not sound like a lot, but for a $100,000, $200,000 heart transplant, you're talking about $20,000 to $40,000.
Yeah, surgeries, products,
follow-up visits,
scans, all that stuff.
It can add up.
It adds up.
It adds up. So it's very important to have Medicare Part C and Part D. And for a lot of Americans, it's actually free or very low cost to no cost at all. They just have to sign up, and that's it. And that's where you see all the commercials saying, do you want new hearing aids? Do you want new teeth, new dentures? Do you want a free gym membership with your Medicare plan? Well, sign up today. So you'll see them playing a lot throughout October through December. That's the enrollment period. And then you'll see them a lot again through January through April, because that's when you can re-enroll. So there's only times, certain specific times that you can enroll into these plans. One of them is, I believe you have like an 8-month or 12-month window once you turn 65. And then after that, if you don't enroll in that period, then you have to wait for the enrollment periods, which are between October to December. And then if you enroll in a plan, you can change your plan one time between January and May. Now, that was the rules and the laws when I was selling Medicare insurance. This was 3-4 years ago. So they may have changed. So talk to your agent. If you listen to this, talk to your agent to get up to date.
They're always changing.
Don't go based off of what I'm saying to enroll into your Medicare Part A, Part B, or Part C and Part D. Just also investigate and see if you can get enrolled, because there's also other ways that special enrollment periods that you can get enrolled throughout the year.
Medicare guidelines are always changing on a yearly basis, even sometimes like bi-yearly, so like several times within a year. So always just make sure, like, you may be covered for something you may have been covered for something in 2025 that you're no longer about to be covered for in 2026, and they're not going to tell you.
Well, they do tell you, but they send you, the way that they tell you is they send you a contract, and your contract tells you, but it
You
doesn't
have to read it. Yeah,
specifically
you have to read
say.
through it.
It doesn't specifically say, oh,
This
you know
is what
what?
changed.
Last year we covered you for cataracts, but this year we're not going to cover you for cataracts. So you have to go and read the contract, read where it says
Investigate.
cataracts, go to where it's at, and then read what it says for the next following year. Or your diabetes.
Yeah, one thing
If
that
you have
I
diabetes,
knew a lot about is coverage, Medicare coverage for people requiring orthotic and prosthetic goods. That falls under DME POs, which are durable medical equipment, and prosthetics and orthotics are under that. And what I just found out is a lot of Medicare coverage for diabetic shoes and inserts are for people who have diabetes, not even pre-diabetic, just you have diabetes. I guess maybe a lot of clinics or just Medicare insurance, they're really being, how do I say it, strict about documentation, and they will not cover those goods unless all the documentation from all your providers are signed off and appropriate. And even if you have all your documentation in order, not a lot of clinics are taking Medicare because of how strict and stringent it has become.
so it's an issue, but some people don't have that issue, and that's okay. Some people do, and that's okay too. But it's about navigating those issues.
Being
But
aware.
Medicare is very, very stringent because there used to be a lot of fraud that went on with Medicare
A
and with
lot.
senior
A
citizens,
lot.
and because they can't really defend themselves. A lot of them have Alzheimer's, dementia. They'll talk to you and they forget the next day. They forget that you can hang up with them. You can have a 2 hour conversation with them, hang up with them, call them right back, and they completely forgot the conversation that you just had with them. They're like, who are you? Oh, hi. And like, you start the conversation brand new. And I worked in the space, so I understand it and I know about it. And every company that sells Medicare insurance, the Part C and Part D, you have 3 opportunities. You have 3 mess ups essentially. If you mess up 3 times, they shut down your whole company. So you can no longer sell these insurance companies. So I went through a very stringent insurance training process. It was a 2 month process for me to understand how to sell insurance, Medicare insurance, specifically health insurance, because Medicare insurance is essentially health insurance. So they taught me like how to read line items, how to read contracts, how to look for these things, and how to advocate for patients, and how to help patients advocate for themselves. So I went through these 2 month training process, and then I started working in Medicare sales. Previously, I had been working in insurance for State Farm. I sold State Farm insurance products. I had never sold health insurance specifically though, and so I wanted to venture out and try something different, and so that's where I ended up in Medicare sales. So in Medicare sales, you have to have really long conversations with these people because you want to make sure that you cover all their health bases. You want to make sure that they're completely covered for the following year. And you don't want to lead them astray because, again, you have 3 strikes and you're out. Your whole company's out. It's not just you as an individual, but everybody in the company. Like, doors get closed. You can no longer sell insurance products.
And what do you mean by these strikes?
So, a strike, so think about like baseball. You have 3 strikes and you're out.
What's considered a strike?
A strike would be you defrauded a Medicare individual or like a senior citizen on purpose.
Like you gave them a more expensive plan?
You gave them a more expensive plan, but you didn't explain to them that it was more expensive or the benefits. Because sometimes you do put them into a more expensive plan, but it's because it comes with a lot of benefits.
That's what they want.
That it's going to help them out so much more. Maybe they're paying $20 a month or more, but it's going to cover so much for them that $20 a month is nothing, right? Compared to the $20,000 of coverage that they just gained that they're actually going to utilize. So it's not explaining the coverages correctly. It's not looking up the prescription drugs and making sure that they're covered. It's not explaining line items correctly, or lying, just fraud, just straight up fraud. So there's multiple ways that you can get a strike on your account. So we have to like really listen to these patients and really get their backstory and like really understand like what's going on with them health wise and how they're using their plans. And so you go on these 2 hour conversations with these people and they tell you some sob stories, like crazy sob stories. One sob story that I heard was this lady. She was no, that was actually a man. This man, he was like 95 years old. He was in the middle of Texas. He was cold. He was in his mobile home. His family had called a wellness check on him, and they call a wellness check. So wellness check is whenever, and you can do this for anybody really. You can call the police department on their non-emergency number if you're from out of town, and you can call, like let's say you're trying to call your granddad that lives across the country, and he doesn't like nobody lives around him. It's just him. But you can't get in contact with him. So you can call the local police station through looking up that local police station's phone number. You can call them and ask for a wellness check for your grandparent across the country, and the police will go out and check on them and see if they're okay. And if they're okay, oh, your granddad's fine. His phone just broke, and he's been waiting for one to come in the mail. Or actually, your granddad passed away, and he's been dead for the past like 3 weeks. We found his body like decomposing, right? So, and I'm sorry if that's happened to your grandparents, but again, this is something that you can do to check in on your loved ones if you can't get in direct communication with them. So one of his family members had called a wellness check on him, and he was cold and he was getting hypothermia. So the cops took him to the hospital so that he could get warm and get food um, and to be treated for his hypothermia that had started to onset. And so while he was getting checked, he was in the hospital for like a week or 2 weeks. And when he came back, his family that had called a wellness check on him has stole everything from him. Like his whole house had gotten emptied out, and there's nothing there for him. And it was just, he didn't have money for heat, didn't have money for electricity, so he's back in the cold. So I listened to this sob story for like 2 hours, and it just like hits me hard. And then there was a cold freeze that was going to happen that night, so I called the wellness check on him again. So I called the wellness check on him, like told the cops what was going on. And he was in Texas, I'm in California, so I was like calling a wellness check from over here. I'm not exactly sure what ended up happening with that story, but I did my part. But anyway, what I'm saying with that whole story is that that's just one example of the terrible stories that I would listen to. And I didn't know it at that time, but I'm an empath, and the empath is empathetic, or I feel other people's emotions. So I feel people's pain like they feel it, so I can tune into it. Now, I didn't know at that time that I could do that. I would just feel with people, and it would allow me to kind of understand where they're coming from. And so I would do it all the time so that I can really resonate and connect with somebody. And it served me up until it didn't serve me, until up until it started. Like I would listen to these sob stories every day, and I'm just internalizing their pain, just internalizing their hurt, and I'm not letting all that hurt and pain out in a healthy way. So I lived a very sedentary lifestyle. I didn't move around very much. I sat down pretty much all the time. I sat down for 8 hours a day working in insurance sales, and then I'd get off and I'd go drink 2-3 beers after work, three, sometimes 4 or 5, maybe a little bit more sometimes on the weekends. But that'd be my daily routine. And eventually it got to me. The sedentary lifestyle, the emotions, the not dealing with it, not processing those emotions in a healthy way, numbing myself. It was just not a healthy way to live. And my body started to tell me that it wasn't a healthy way to live. It started to, first I started off with neuromuscular scoliosis. So my back, all of a sudden, I've had a straight back my whole life. All of a sudden I was curved sideways. And so that's how it started. And and it happens from time to time since I was growing up. I grew up helping my dad at his tire shop, lifting heavy tires, lifting heavy weight. And so I've thrown my back out a couple times. So it's happened in the past. So when it initially happened, I was like, oh, it's happened before. It's the same old thing. I just need like 2 weeks. I just ignored it. I'm like, I just need 2 weeks and I'll get back to normal. I just need to sleep on the ground and just do my normal stuff. But 2 weeks passed and I was still in the same pain. I was just crawling around the house, And I was like, what the heck is going on? And 3 weeks passed, 4 weeks passed, and very similar. And then I'm like, okay, they're like, there's something else going on here, but I didn't really know exactly what. Then I started throwing up every day, and then I started throwing up every day, and I'm like keeping it to myself. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. because I have to go to work at 5 a.m. because we started selling insurance on the East Coast. So we sold, my insurance company would sell insurance all across the country. So I'd wake up at 5 a.m. so I could sell, or 4 a.m. so I could sell insurance at 5 a.m. to East Coasters, which would be 8 a.m. their time. So I'm waking up really early at 4 a.m. I'm throwing up before work, and I'm not telling Isha anything. I'm just keeping it all to myself. I'm not telling Isha anything. I'm just keeping it all to myself. And I'm just like powering through. I'm just hoping that it goes away. It just doesn't go away, and I keep throwing up. 2 weeks in, I start throwing up blood. It starts off with just a drop, and it starts off with like a clump, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I start freaking out, and then eventually I tell Isha.
Then he comes to me and then he tells me, or it's either he tells me or I notice that blood is involved. And I've been well versed in the healthcare field since like 2014 maybe. Started off as a physical therapy aide and then continued as a physical therapy aide, but had a background in biology first and then went to kinesiology and then put a lot of my effort and time into volunteering in hospitals because I wanted to go to med school, then switched to physical therapy and then switched to orthotics and prosthetics. But so I always knew that whenever blood is involved, when you're excreting blood through either your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your urine, your feces, where blood should not be coming out, like I already know immediately that that's not a good sign. But there are differences in the look of blood. Like if it's like bright red, probably is like a tear, but if it's like deep in color, I think that tells a different story as well. Um, so he started coughing up blood,
throwing up blood.
coughing out and throwing.
No, I was throwing it up.
Throwing.
I was just throwing up
blood, and I was like, no, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Something's going on. We need to get a handle on it. And so I have some family members who are in the medical field, either doctors who are doctors. And so I reached out to them and I let them know the whole situation about Juan. And they're like, yeah, like take him to the emergency room. Like he needs to get it checked out. He needs to figure out what's going on, like where the blood is coming from. I was like, I know, but thank you. So then we went to the emergency room. This was during like the middle to end last half of COVID. COVID time. This was in 2021, like last half of the year, like September, October, November, December time. And we went to the emergency room. He had to wait in the emergency room by himself for like 5+ hours.
It was 10 hours.
And this was like at night too. So this was at maybe like 9 p.m., 8 p.m.
No, we went in at like 3 or 4 because we went in right before the urgent care closed. So urgent care was still open. Because we went there first, and then they're like, "There's nothing we can do for you. They were just, we need to stick a camera in you, and we don't have the camera. You need to go to the emergency room."
Yeah. Oh, you went by yourself.
I went by myself because it was COVID time, and here in California, they wouldn't allow you in the hospital. If you weren't the one being treated, you weren't allowed in the hospital. Unless you were already in a room, then they allow your family and friends to come visit you. But if not, in the waiting room, you would have to be by yourself.
No, but you went to urgent care before the urgent care and emergency room are different.
Understood.
So you went to urgent care first, and you went to.
We were in urgent care together, and then we went to the emergency room. Emergency room kicked you out. And you were sitting in the car. I was sitting inside.
I was walking around the hospital waiting. I thought it was gonna take like at about 3 hours. It took a lot longer, and by this time it was already starting to get really late. So I left to go back home and sleep, and then Juan was just in the emergency room in the hospital here in the Coachella Valley. Was it Eisenhower by himself, waiting to be seen for a long time.
There was somebody right next to me. He had a broken like femur, and he was there for 6 hours just screaming, just tightly, just tearing up. And I don't like. I'm not saying that to like feel or to like belittle him, but it's like this guy has a broken femur, and you guys can't give him anything. Like, give him some morphine, give him something to like numb the pain or something. They just weren't even attending to him. They're like, "You're not gonna die. You're gonna be fine. You have a broken femur. Like, you're not bleeding out. You're fine. Like,
SOL.
like, just wait your turn, essentially." And so I was just sitting there. I was like, "Dang, if they're not giving this guy help, like, I gotta wait my turn. Like, I'll be all right." Um, so eventually they see me. I end up seeing a doctor, and they don't even do any tests on me. I think they did blood work on me. They did blood work tests, but they didn't do any. They didn't do an endoscopy. They didn't put a camera inside of me. Nothing. They're just like, "Here's pantoprazole. Take it for the next 2 weeks. See you later. Go see your primary care doctor." Now at that time, I didn't want to go to the doctor because I had started my job. My insurance hadn't kicked in yet. I think they had like a 3 or 6 month waiting period,
Yeah.
and I needed 2 weeks left. So I had been throwing up blood for 2 weeks, and I needed 2 weeks left. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for my insurance to kick in, so I couldn't go to my primary care doctor, so I can get the blood checked out, my throwing up checked out. But after I had been throwing up for 2 weeks, it started becoming more and more. I told Ishelle. Ishelle messaged her aunts and uncles that are doctors. They were all, she had like 2 or 3 of them, separate families, and they all said the same thing: go to the emergency room now. So I was like, okay, I'll go to the emergency room, kicking and screaming. Like, I didn't want to pay the emergency room fee, but I was like, you know what? If I like, this is life or death, like, let's do it. So I ended up going. They sent me on my way with pantoprazole. It didn't really help, but
How did it make you feel, if you remember?
pantoprazole itself,
When you
or
took
like,
it. Because yeah, you took it once or twice, and you're like, I don't like the way it makes me feel.
No, it wasn't that. That wasn't the one that took once or twice. It was the.
Which one?
It was that was the psychotic medication or the psychiatric medication, the antidepressant that I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
That I took once or twice and I didn't like it. Um, so.
Well, how did the pantoprazole help or not help?
I think it did help a little bit in making me not throw up, but I was still nauseous.
Oh, well, yeah, he was so nauseous. Like, every
Super
time I
nauseous.
open the fridge, just open and figure out, and he's like, on the opposite side of the kitchen, he's like, close it, close it. I'm like, I need to look and figure out what's in here to cook things. He's like, close it. I'm like, okay.
And there's like nothing smelly or like
we don't
bad
have
smelling
a smelly fridge
in the fridge. I'd be across the
Sensitive.
room. I'd be so sensitive.
Just
I felt
really
like
sensitive to smell.
very similar to how like pregnant women get very sensitive to smell. That's essentially how it was. Like, she'd open the refrigerator and I would immediately just start gagging. She would open, like, I'd have to have her throw things away.
Yeah.
Because if she opened the cupboard where we have the trash can, again, nothing necessarily dirty in the trash can, but if there's just like any kind of smell, would instantly get me super nauseous and I start throwing up or wanting to throw up.
Just gagging.
And it was not nice. And I come from a family that has a lot of stomach cancer in it. I have two uncles that died of stomach cancer. I have an aunt that died of stomach cancer. My grandma is believed that she died of stomach cancer, but she died back in the 70s in El Salvador. So they didn't have any testing equipment to like be able to accurately say what she had. She just ended up dying. And so, but very similar. Everybody kind of starts off like throwing up and having like really bad symptoms.
It's H. pylori that he thought that he had in his stomach.
H. pylori. So H. pylori is a bacteria that is in most of the world. 50% of the people actually have it in the planet, except doctors don't really test for it here in America because it's less common. Here in America, it's still possible, but it's less common. But if you go to a third world country like El Salvador, it's a lot more prevalent. A lot of the population have it. So every time you go to a third world country, it's recommended that you go and get tested 2 or 3 months out for H. pylori in your stomach, because most of the time H. pylori, it lives in your stomach and it doesn't do anything to you for the most part. You may have some symptoms here and there, but for the most part, it just lives inside of you. But once it like activates and like becomes like really bad for you, it can just go straight into developing stomach cancer very quickly. And then once it develops stomach cancer, like you stop eating, and then you start taking in nutrition, and you start to die very, very quickly. So stomach cancer is one of the worst ways to go, because of not being able to eat and how aggressive it is. Um, so I had like family members that have died of stomach cancer, and it was
That's
just
where his head was going.
and that's where my brain was at. Like, I'm next, and they all died relatively young, between anywhere from 20 to 40 years old. And so I was like, I'm next. Like, I'm the next one on the family tree that this happens to. And so I was in a very depressed state, very anxious state. I didn't like it at all, but it's just the cards that I was dealt at that time, and I had to figure it out. And initially, I did everything the doctors told me, and they don't tell you very much.
Well, you went to the doctors, and what were they telling you?
So they essentially said, well, you have. So I ended up discovering everything that was wrong with me slowly over time, right? Because it takes time to go from one specialist to another, to another, to another.
And
so the whole list is, I ended up with fatty liver disease,
well,
gastritis.
before that, we before even seeing the doctor, we were thinking that it could have been emesis from smoking.
No, that was the doctor. That's what they thought.
I thought that was us. 'Cause
No,
I
that was the
remember
doctor.
reading it.
The
Okay.
doctor suggested that. And then,
Okay, so that was a suggestion because we would also smoke as well.
yeah, smoke weed. So
And so
emesis is a thing that you get whenever
you're
it's
cutting out.
apparently it's a new thing. I don't like because of the high levels of THC in marijuana. It causes you to eventually, like, your body just says no. Like, it starts to reject THC, and it starts to make you throw up every time that you intake. So that's what the doctors thought was part of it, but that wasn't it. So fatty liver disease, gastritis, through throwing up every day.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, stomach, gastritis. Because I was throwing up every day, I started to tear a hole into my esophagus wall.
And that's where the bleeding was coming from.
And that's where the bleeding was coming from.
Tear.
From that tear. They did endoscopy, so that's how they figured that out. I developed a slight arthritis in my spine, neuromuscular scoliosis, what else? Sleep apnea. I couldn't sleep well. I had very bad allergies. I would be blowing my nose all the time. Every 3 minutes, I would literally had to have a box of tissues right next to me, just blowing my nose all the time. And what else? Sleep apnea, couldn't sleep. Oh, depression, anxiety, just like my whole body was shutting down on me.
Yep.
My whole body was shutting down on me, and I was not having a good time. But I was doing everything the doctors were telling me, and they don't tell you much. They're like, okay, you have gastritis, which means you have acid in your stomach. So here's one piece of paper. No, actually, they gave me 2 pieces of paper. So here's 2 pieces of paper. This is what you can't eat, and this is what you should eat, and that's it. Figure it out. See you later. No recipes, no menus, none of that stuff.
Well,
it was just.
I do remember that they gave you something.
It was 2 pieces of paper. I still have it.
Oh.
It was 2 pieces of paper. It was, don't eat acidic foods. Don't eat apples. Don't eat kiwis. Don't eat oranges. Don't eat X, Y, and Z. Here's some things that you can't eat. And yeah, see you later.
So then what we did was we took it to the extreme, but we needed to, and we And it's we thing because I wasn't gonna just do it for him and then myself eat whatever.
And I
So
couldn't eat everything.
and he couldn't smell. Like smelling the things weren't
Like
helpful.
fried food would, I'd gag and throw. Like everything I couldn't eat, like would make me gag and throw up. So it was just pretty much fruits and
So
vegetables are the only thing that I could eat.
what we started with was just fruits. Fruits. I've made
We would
fruit
make fruit
smoothies.
smoothies, so it would make it really sweet.
And then we started with like a log, like a food log of like, okay, what did you eat? How did it make you feel? Um, and we did that for maybe like a few weeks. I think we still have the log. Um, and then slowly over time, we introduced vegetables. And then we added vegan food items. And then just continuing slowly over time, just slowly introducing more and more things. Um, Introducing some meats, introducing some real food, real plant and meat items.
Well, all of it was real.
Not the vegan.
Oh, okay. So you need to explain that. So why is vegan not real to you in your eyes now? Because at the time we didn't know. Because you hear vegan and you think it's the healthier option, and they tell you, oh, the vegan, oh, get the vegan this, the vegan everything, right? So this is something that we ended up learning that wasn't given to us immediately.
So vegan food items, when you see like the chick dash, no, not dash, apostrophe N for chicken, and like the Beyond Meats and all that kind of stuff, all that vegan stuff. It's not fake. I mean, it's all fake. It's not real.
Okay,
And it's fake in the sense of it's all lab created. And anything that was created in a lab, the body does not recognize and the body does not know how to.
Let's not say everything. Let's say most things created in the lab. Most things created in the lab. It's like synthetic. Your body doesn't know how to break it down.
Same. Just like drugs. The body doesn't know how to process it. And it's like it's like
But let's also be careful with
you're
the...
a painter. It's like you're a painter and you got hired to be a plumber. Like, what? I don't know how to do this. Like, that's the body. It's like, wait, what? Like, I don't know how to process this. I don't know what to do with it. So it either stores it or it excretes it.
And a lot of the times they have a lot of seed oils.
And you don't want that stuff to be stored in your body because that's all the body's holding on to something it doesn't know what to do with, and then the body starts to, I don't know, that stuff either like doesn't know how to decompose, or it's just holding on to stuff that shouldn't and doesn't need to be in the body.
So we're not saying that all vegan foods are bad or terrible or Beyond Meats or anything, right? But just be careful with how much you, with the ingredients and how much you intake, right? You want to be looking at what you put into your body, and does it have seed oils? What are they making it out of? Like
No palm oils. Make sure you know what the ingredients are. Like, yes, if there's a patty that's being made with black beans and corn and peppers, and like chia, okay, that makes sense. Those are all real ingredients. But if you look at the ingredients and you are all these like big major words that have nothing to do with real items, that's how you know that the body's going to have a difficult time not understanding how to process it.
So yeah, difficult time learning how to process it. And so we were eating very, very healthy, but because again, I couldn't eat anything else. So it was literally fruit and vegetable smoothies every single day. And we would switch it up. We would change it. We would either, first off, we started off with more fruits than vegetables because I didn't really like vegetables too much at that time. And so we started slowly introducing more and more vegetables so it'd go away from sugar, because fruits, it's a lot of sugar. Yes.
But also, just like I don't want to say coincidentally, but like how everything kind of played out with this whole process, we also found the book of Eat Right for Your Type. And that's kind of what helped us realize how we needed to adjust our nutrition and and eating habits and patterns um, to eat things and items and food that our body is already natural and capable of processing at as efficiently as possible anyways.
What is Eat Right for Your Type?
Eat Right for Your Type. It's a really cool book by Dr. Diadamo. I don't know what kind of doctor he is. I never really looked into his background. But Eat Right for Your Type is pretty much based off of like a nutrition list or a food item list, a diet list that's categorized for what blood type you are. And for myself, I'm a blood type AB, AB positive. And for this guy, he's an O positive.
O negative.
O negative. And
Relentless these flies are.
And when he started to be able to actually eat more food items is when we were introduced to this book, so that he can get the most benefit out of the foods that he's eating or that we are eating. So instead of it being like any fruit, any vegetable, we use the nutrition list from the AB diet food list, and the O food list, and whatever cross between those two lists is what we use. So like I used to put radishes and cucumbers in our smoothies, and found out that he's good with radishes but not me. He's good with cucumbers but not me. Those are things that I should actually be avoiding and avoiding consuming on a consistent basis. And so we stopped putting those in our smoothies, and slowly but surely, like we could tell our body was processing and using all of those foods and those nutrients in an efficient way, and our bodies were really happy. We were both losing weight.
Yeah, I went from 190 to like 140. Just
160.
eating. Like, oh, actually, no, I got down to 140.
Oh, because he was also doing jujitsu at the same time.
I was doing jujitsu at the same time.
So
all right. So we go through this process. All right. So we kind of jumped ahead a lot, but that's okay. So I get sick. Doctors tell me, like, here's these 2 pages. Figure it out. See you later. And so we ended up taking things on our own hands. It's like, okay, well, these doctors are not telling us anything really. I mean, they give us some good information, but it's not enough information. So we need to start taking matters into our own hands. So I did everything the doctors told me for like 4 months. Take these pills, do this, do that. But I wasn't feeling any better. And for my understanding, medicine is you take it and then you get better and that's it. It wasn't something that you take it and then you keep taking it and you keep taking it for the rest of your life. Because that's not medicine. Medicine is supposed to heal you, in my mind. But what these doctors are giving me are things that, like, they just keep prescribing it to me. You need to be reliant on. And I had heard of, because I worked in Medicare, of these people that have been on these prescription pills for over 20 years, pantoprazole and omeprazole. They've been on them for 20 years. And then I ended up learning that, like, some of these drugs, like omeprazole, pantoprazole, you're only supposed to be on it for 2 weeks. And that's it. And it says it like on their advertising, only on it for 2 weeks and that's it. But doctors keep prescribing it and keep prescribing it. And then I was like wondering why. So I kind of followed along their whole, everything that they were saying until I had to change doctors, because I went from my, I ended up having to go on disability because I was just throwing up so bad and I just couldn't like function. Essentially, my whole body was shutting down on me.
That was a process, a whole
That
major
was
process
a
in
whole
itself.
major process in itself. Getting on
Oof.
disability, especially at my
what,
young
like a
age of
year?
like 24. It took a whole year for me to get on it, for me to get paid from disability. So it was a really long time, a really arduous process. And then when just a really long process to get on it. And then when I finally got on it, they ended up mixing up my name and somebody else's name. And so that was a whole process
He had to
of
prove his identity.
me proving my own identity.
So stupid.
So very difficult to do, but I was in such a bad state that that's the only like way that I saw out. And so I ended up getting on disability. I ended up doing everything the doctors ended up telling me, and I ended up getting on Medi-Cal, which is a government funded insurance plan here in the state of California.
People who have low income.
For people who have low income. So I ended up getting on Medi-Cal, and so my doctor changed. And so when I ended up going to my new doctor, I'm like telling her everything that's wrong with me, and she's like, "You're too young to be having all this stuff." I'm like, "I understand, but like, help me out."
It's happening.
It's happening. And so she's like, "Why are you taking pantoprazole?" And I'm like, cause my doctor prescribed it to me. I was like, "What do you mean? Why am I taking it?" She's like, "Well, there's all these side effects. It can affect your memory. It can affect you can start developing osteoporosis. You can start developing all these different side effects. Why are you taking it?" I'm like, "Cause my doctor told me." She was like, "Oh, okay.
Well,
Here's the prescription."
Here you go.
She wrote it down. She was like, "Here's your prescription for pantoprazole. See you later."
Same thing.
And I was like, "Listen, I'm suffering from some of these side effects that you're telling me." I couldn't hold a conversation
It was really foggy.
I couldn't hold a conversation for a minute
without memory.
Very poor memory. I couldn't hold a conversation without asking Nichelle, "Hey, what was I talking about? What did I just say? What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Can you get me back on track?" Like that would every single sentence would be like that. Like I would just forget my train of thought. And I'm like, this whole list of side effects that you're talking about, like I'm suffering from those side effects. And you're still prescribing it to me, and you're asking me, questioning me why I'm taking it, and then you still give it to me. And that's where like alarm bells went off in my mind. I was like, red flag. Like this is alert. Something's going on. Like this is like the SpongeBob episode where they like start burning everything in the brain. Like what the heck is going on? Like why are you giving me something that you told me is very bad for me? And
that I'm too young for. And you're still giving
it to me. And she ended up running like an MRI, not an MRI, X-ray, CT scan on my back, I believe. And she was like, "Yeah, you have arthritis, but we're not going to give you any medicine because you're too young. And the medicine that we would give you would mess you up." And I was like, wait, hold on a second. So what you're telling me? Let me rationalize this. Let's take 1 second here. Let's really think about this. So I'm young. I'm 24 at that time, 22, 23, 24 at that time. If I take this medicine, it's going to completely mess me up. But I know people that are 60, 80 years old that have been on this medication for the past 20 years. What about them? For me, that I'm young, that my body is able to to heal itself quicker. If it's bad for me, what's it doing for them? That their body's not able to regenerate as quickly. And so then I started thinking about all these people on all these pills, because I would have to take all their prescriptions. It'd be like 13, 15 prescriptions because they've been on these medications for so long. So what the doctors end up doing is they give them one prescription, and then they give them another, and then they give them another to treat the side effects for the previous prescription.
And what they're doing is, they have a medication list, but they don't know the effects. There's not research of like, okay, if you put all these 10 different medications together, what is it actually doing? Is it actually countering the second medication and like 4, 5, and 6? Is it actually amplifying 8, 9, and 10's medication? Like, nobody knows the research behind putting all these medications together. And if there are, the research isn't extensive to like having all of those medications in a single person. It's wild.
And they can't really test this stuff because it's like everybody has 10 different medications that are different, right? So not everybody has the same 10 list of medications. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So the likelihood of you actually testing this correctly is like very, very, very minimal. So alarm bells go off in my brain. Like, okay, if this stuff, medicine in my mind is supposed to heal me, but this stuff is not healing me. I know all these people that have been on all this medication for all these years, and they're not healed. In fact, they feel terrible. So what is this going down this route that the doctor's telling me? It's not going to heal me. So how can I heal myself? And so that's where we went through the whole process. Found a chiropractor, ended up
holistic
chiropractor selling high quality supplements. Ended up learning about high quality supplements. The power of high quality supplements was because what I didn't know before is you take these multivitamins that you find at Walmart or Target or all of these other stores, and some of them are good, but some of them, the majority of the big name brands, typically their main ingredient is, I forgot what it is, but essentially if you look
Sodium?
it up, it's limestone. I forgot what it's called. Sodium something. Sodium bicarbonate. No, it's not sodium bicarbonate. That's baking soda. It's
But that's what I thought it was.
sodium bicarbonate is baking soda. That's not the main ingredient.
No. Okay.
The main ingredient is essentially limestone, if you look on the bottle. And so I end up learning about high quality supplements and the importance of high quality supplements, making sure that they come from actual plants, that they're not synthesized in a lab, because your body doesn't know how to synthesize chemicals, process chemicals that are synthesized in labs. But something that is derived from a vegetable or a fruit or a meat, it knows how to process that because it's a natural ingredient. So end up learning about high quality supplements through my chiropractor.
Supplements, like people, there are people out there live and breathe and die by supplements. But like a supplement is only supposed to be like if, for example, like you can't have fish. Okay, well, take this supplement to be able to supplement that that specific item or food, or it's really breaks down into like vitamins and minerals.
And everybody needs to take them.
If you're not intaking the proper diet.
If you're not intaking the proper diet, and the majority of Americans aren't, because we eat processed food. Majority of humans probably aren't, because we eat processed food that doesn't have any nutrients in it, doesn't have any of the foods that we need. And then if we do eat healthy, a lot of the food that we do eat doesn't have the nutrients in it because the soil isn't they put chemical fertilizers. They don't put actual organic material back in the dirt. So what they should be doing is taking the material, like let's say you have corn. So you have an ear of corn, you tear off the corn, but you still have the stalk. What you should be doing is taking that stalk, crunching it up and make it into compost. But what farmers do in America and now across a lot of the world is they get that, they either burn it or they give it to their livestock for food. So they give it to their pigs, to their horses, to their cows so that they can eat it.
Cornmeal.
And there's so that they eat it. So but none of that nutrients from that stalk is going back into the soil.
Corn is a touchy subject. I highly recommend people stay away from the eating and use of corn, or at least if you know where it's coming from, then that's awesome. But corn in itself is genetically modified. Corn is not supposed to be that big.
And
just saying.
Genetically modified, and so there's a lot of genetically modified also plants now. So is there anything wrong with genetically modified plants? Not necessarily per se, but the problem with them is that they genetically modify them so that they are resistant against weed killer. And so it can kill everything except for the plant. Now, the issue with that is that the crop dust these farmlands, and they spray all this poison, and the poison ends up going inside the plant, which you end up eating. Now, it doesn't kill the plant, but it can kill you over time if you're ingesting these plants over time. So eating healthy, you also have to be careful with that. You want to eat organic plants. You want to know exactly where they're coming from, what kind of pesticides and herbicides are they using. You want to wash your plants. You want to wash your fruits and vegetables. Now, that's something that I always knew because my parents worked in, when they first came to America, they worked in the farms. So they knew about all the herbicides and pesticides that were sprayed on fruits and vegetables. Now, EESH didn't know about this stuff.
I'm like, it's okay. Like, my body's strong and resilient. Like, if it's going to kill me, it would have done so already. And my body is still very resilient. But now I know that I need to wash my stuff.
Wash your stuff because it's pesticides and herbicides. And if it kills the insects, it'll kill you over time. So you have to wash them, and there's specific ways to wash them, either with vinegar or with baking soda or with
Dash of
like a
chlorine
dash of chlorine.
or some dish
But
soap.
look up on YouTube. There's multiple ways to learn how to wash your vegetables and fruits, and we'll probably make some videos on it as well. So end up learning about that. End up learning about proper posture. End up learning about rolling out, stretching, the importance of rolling out and stretching, the importance of affirmations, the way that you talk to yourself, meditation, being your own best friend, being your own advocate, but being your own best friend, essentially being your own coach. Don't talk down to yourself. So there's all these different modalities: nervous system healing, somatic healing, chiropractic, acupuncture, all these things that we learned along the way, that we want to teach you.
It was a mutual thing. Even though he was going through the bulk of the hurt and the trauma and the healing, like I was also going through it with him, in a different way. At the same time that he was going through all of that, I caused myself to hurt myself, and I sprained my left wrist.
You sprained both your wrists, but more your left wrist and your ankles.
And well, those were from previous old injuries that I never healed ever. I just got away with.
Ishelle is a very jumpy and energetic person, but she had gotten to a point where she could no longer jump. She could no longer move around so quickly. She was like hardly moving at all. She had fallen off her bike, so she ended up really hurting her left wrist.
Yeah, I braced and fell and caught myself on my left wrist, which ultimately hurt me up the chain, but it really primarily affected my left side. And then I started also at the same time, like even being in this position with my right ankle, I would get like, it would feel like something internally would be tearing. Like it hurt really bad. So we both started getting acupuncture at the same time for a lot of our different ailments that we had.
And she actually went and got a MRI scan.
And I got scans.
And she got MRI scan, and they found definitively that she had arthritis in I think both her wrists and her ankles. And again, they were just like, "See you later, have figure it out."
Oh yeah, and waiting for occupational therapy took over a month, and I was like, "Enough's enough! Like I can't. I need my wrists. Like my job require me to use like my fine motor and my gross motors.
You're very hands-on. It was a very hands-on job.
And skills, yeah. Like I needed
gross motor. You talk like everybody knows what you're talking about. Gross motor skills.
Well, okay.
Your OP, OT. With a lot of jargon. Come on, talk to us like we're 3.
So I needed, I needed to put knee braces on people. Like I needed to have strength in my hands because everything that I did in my profession used my hands and my grip strength. And I waited over a month. I called in to insurance to ask if they ever got a referral for occupational therapy. They never received anything, and I was like, I'm not about to go through this goose chase. Like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need your guys' health insurance. Like, shoo. Like, I'll handle this on my own. And so we did acupuncture, and acupuncture was the thing that did it. But the thing about acupuncture is like, acupuncture opens up and allows like energy to flow, but it's up to the individual to also like allow that energy to flow as well. So what I mean by this is like, yes, I got acupuncture, but at the same time, like on the off days that I wasn't receiving acupuncture, I was stretching. I was being cautious of my movements. Like I wasn't overly doing or extending myself. Like I was making sure and I was setting myself up to succeed and allow my body to heal. And I think that's the really important part about acupuncture. Like, yes, it it's a bit of a magic wand, but it's
You have to also do other things on top, like eat right, right? Have some movement in your body. Maybe even doing like hot baths, hot showers, cold plunges as well, cold baths, cold showers, because heat and cold both help in different ways. Thinking positive thoughts, right? You can't be thinking, oh, acupuncture is not gonna help me, and you go in there, you're like a Scrooge about it, and then and you do it and you think it's gonna help you, because it's not. It's also about the thoughts and the beliefs that you have in your mind, and the emotions that you experience within your body, right? Because a lot of times, a lot of this disease that we got that we get is from not our bodies not being in ease. So it's an extended period of not being in ease is dis-ease, which eventually creates disease, right? So you like acupuncture helps a lot, but also you, depending on how long the injury has been for, or how long it has manifested in your body, it also may take that amount of time with acupuncture. So for Rochelle, she was going like 2 times a week for 9 weeks,
for like a month and a half.
For like a month,
not 9 weeks.
Or for like a month and a half, but then you started going like once a week after that, for a while. And then same for me. I was going like twice a week for like 6 weeks as well, and then I started going once a week, and then eventually like once every other week, and then now I'll go like once a month to acupuncture, just to, because it's really nice. It helps a lot.
And this is the thing about acupuncture, right? People are like, oh, I'm scared of needles, like, is it gonna hurt? The needles, I believe you should not be scared of the needles. I think definitely you should be more cautious about the individual behind the needles. But it's very surface level. It's not supposed to like dig in all the way to your muscle. It's just like that's like when you have a scrape, like when you scrape yourself, and you like, if you've ever seen like that skin layer like come off of that scrape, like that's as far as the needle is going.
As far as we know. So if you're a medical doctor and acupuncturist, let us know how far deep they actually go.
But what's happening is like, yeah, the needle needs to get to the nerve to like shock it and be like, hey, like reinvigorate it or something. Like allow what
it opens
that
the channel.
It opens it up, right? It allows the flow to move. And it will be a shock, and it will be a bit painful if there is a blockage there, but it's quick and immediate. Like it's like a quick burst of energy.
It hurts,
and then it goes away.
And it goes away. But also you have to like let your emotions out.
It's the mentality though.
Acupuncture, because a lot of times when you're doing acupuncture, you're gonna feel like you want to cry.
Yes, and cry
or laugh.
Shout or scream like ah.
You know, like do it in a controlled way depending on where you're at.
Or Juan, he goes.
Take deep breaths into your stomach to calm you down. But also, like, if you feel like crying, let it out, because that's the emotions that are trying to let out of your body.
So yes, acupuncture is going to be intense initially, for sure. But definitely it's because if you have blockages. More recently, I've been realizing from acupuncture treatments, like whenever our acupuncturist has been putting in our needles on this left side, it no longer hurts anymore. I think there's only one spot, which is right here on or around my thumb. And now it's just certain spots have been hurting on my right side, but slowly but surely, things are not hurting anymore when the needles are being put in. Same, really more so on this right side of like where my thumb is, but I've always kind of known this. I mean, I'm right side dominant, and so it definitely is going to take a little bit more time to heal my right side than my left side. It just makes sense.
It just makes sense. And so acupuncture, it helps a lot. And some people, it may not help as much, depends. But essentially what acupuncture does is, and depends on your acupuncturist, because there's different acupuncturists that use different methods. And you may go to one acupuncturist, it may not work. You may go to another one, and it may work, right? So don't get pigeonholed into like, oh, I tried it once and it didn't work. Like you have to go through a whole
It's a
treatment,
process.
which a whole treatment is typically 9 sessions. But again, depending on how long you've been suffering with this ailment, it may be longer. So go through the whole treatment to see if it works. Have a positive mindset. Let out your emotions when you're going through it. And acupuncture, what it essentially does is it tells your body
Your nervous
it
system.
tells your body where to concentrate its healing. So your body has naturally is very powerful in healing itself, but sometimes it's kind of like directing its energy in all these directions, so it doesn't know to heal this specific area. But then acupuncture, through the points that they point through the where they put the needles at, it tells your body specifically in this area, like let's say your stomach or whatever, in this meridian, this line of energy that runs through the stomach, there's a knot there, let's open it up, and then that is going to open up the flow of energy. Now, what is the flow of energy? Like, oh, Juan, that's woo-woo, flow of energy. Okay, let me put it in simple terms so that you can understand. So, flow of energy is essentially loosening up knots in your muscular system so that energy can flow in your nervous system. Where do the nerves flow through? They flow through the muscles.
Yes.
So if the muscle is tight, the nerve can't allow information to go through. So your nerves, let's say in your stomach, they could be sending information signals to your brain. They might be saying, the nerves might be saying, hey, actually, we need some nutrients. Let's send these signals to the brain. But if there's knots along the way, it blocks the signal from getting to the brain. So the brain never knows to send nutrients to the stomach. And over a long period of time, it causes your stomach to not get the nutrients that it needs, so it starts to suffer and it starts to become in disease. It starts to become you start to getting a lot of ailments,
and then the stomach starts to talk
and then
to the body,
and then the stomach starts to talk. You might start having a lot of stomach aches. You might start having build up acid, right? And so that's the stomach talking and letting you know, like, hey, something's wrong. We need to fix something. Like something's going on that we need to solve.
And are you almost done?
Let me keep going.
Okay.
So there's something that we need to solve. So the acupuncture, what it does is that it relaxes the muscles along the way and allows the information to flow so that the brain can send nutrients to the stomach so that the stomach can heal itself. Now, that's how I explain it. Acupuncturist doctors, let us know in the comments below what I got right, what I got wrong. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. This is just how I interpret it and how I see it and how I believe that it actually works. But essentially, they call it the placebo effect. Acupuncture is the placebo effect. Well, placebo is your body's natural ability to heal itself, and acupuncture increases that ability, increases the placebo. So what we're here to talk about is how can you increase your placebo effect so that you can heal yourself as quickly, as efficiently as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So one thing that I wanted to like talk about in terms of acupuncture and why like I recommend acupuncture to everyone is because it works with the nervous system and it works with our nerves, and our nervous system is in control of everything that we do. Without our nervous system, we would just be a blob of meat and bones. Like we essentially wouldn't be living, breathing human beings because our nervous system is responsible, right? Our nervous system meaning our brain, our spinal cord, and then the nerves that branch out from the spinal cord. And our nervous system and our nerves tell everything in our body what to do, right? It tells us how to talk, it tells us when to blink, it tells us how to breathe, it tells our heart to beat, it tells our muscles to move. It tells our bones how to move. So all in all, what I mean by all of this is like our nervous system is responsible for everything. And if we really want to get to the root of the problem, it is our nervous system that we need to get to the root of. Some people are like, I stretch all the time, I exercise, I roll out, I get massages, but for some reason, like, I'm still hurting, I'm still in pain, like, I still can't do things. Well, I wonder why. because you've got into the surface level plant, but you haven't actually got into the roots of the cause, which is your nervous system remembers that your back got injured, and so it's already protecting, and it's in this like overdrive protected mode of making sure that you don't re-injure and re-aggravate your back in the same way or in a similar way. And so it seizes up, and it I don't know if anyone's ever experienced this this sensation of like, for example, I think people understand this. Has anyone ever witnessed someone else cutting fruit, cutting vegetables, cutting meat, and you're like kind of on edge, like, oh, be careful, like don't cut yourself? Have you ever experienced?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I mean. Like you're using a past experience and you're holding on to it by witnessing something else or someone else doing the same thing. That's kind of your nervous system. It remembers a past experience. It's like, okay, brace and be careful because we don't want the same thing to happen again. So the nervous system.
So yeah, in all essence, all the modalities that we're going to teach you is to heal the nervous system.
To target the
nervous system. So all these things that like, to wrap it all up, and it's funny because I just learned this about like nervous system healing.
Somatic.
So somatic is one point, but the next point underneath that is nervous system healing. And it's something that I just learned, and it's like it completes everything because it's like there are certain things that like they work when you do it. So yeah, I just learned it. It's like nervous system healing. Like I was doing all these modalities and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's my nervous system wasn't healed. So I was having stressors in my daily life that were putting me back into a less than optimal state. And then I would do all these different exercises so that I could get back to baseline with my nervous system. But then I'd go back out in the world and I get re-stressed again. So what you really need to do is to heal your nervous system. Now, all these modalities that we're going to talk about throughout all these weeks are going to get you to that point because it's all encompassing. It's all a part of it. Affirmations, talking well to yourself, nutrition. It's all comes into play.
Giving yourself grace, creating boundaries, like all that stuff.
All of it goes into plays into your nervous system, trusting that you're safe, and trusting that you are going to be good and safe moving forward, right? Like
and you mentioned a keyword, and I think everything that we end up doing really takes into account our safety.
Safety. Do you feel safe?
Do you feel safe?
Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe at work? Do you feel safe at home? Do you feel safe during conflict?
In a car.
Do you feel safe in a
grocery store?
In a grocery store.
In crowded spaces.
In a relationship.
In a relationship with your family.
With your family, right?
With your friends. Things like that.
It all comes down to a sense of safety. And if you don't feel safe, you won't do it.
And your nervous system is going to know that you don't feel safe.
And it will shut down. And your body keeps the score. The emotions will stay within your body until you process those emotions. But then you also have to make the system more resilient. You have to make the nervous system stronger so that whenever these stressors come back into your life, you can just write them. They may still stress you, but they don't affect you on a nervous system level. They don't trigger that fight or flight. You're just like, yeah, that's a little annoying. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily want to do that, but you know what? Let's go through it. All right. We got some conflict. Like somebody wants to do A, somebody wants to do B, and they're both butting heads. And now I got to go in and mediate. Like, you know what? Naturally, for most people, they don't like that situation. But because I've healed my nervous system, now I can go into the situation level-headed, clear-headed, and not get my emotions riled up and just get everybody on the same page. Okay, you guys, you were going to do A today, and then how about we do B next month? And I was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. Actually, that works perfect, right? And so you start to see these daily stressors as not as stressful to yourself. So you have to, that's why it's important to heal your nervous system, right? So that's what we're here to teach. And hi, I'm Juan Michael, and this is
Hi, my name is EESH. Hi, my name is Ishel, aka also known as EESH.
EESH. And we're here to help you become the best version of yourself this 2026 and beyond. We're here to help you level up. If you need an accountability partner, if you need somebody to point you in the right direction, you're like, hey, there's all these things going on. There's so many places to go to start. I don't know where to start. Well, come to us.
This is where we're here to help.
This is why we're here to help. Ask us questions. TheDesertConsulting.com. You can book an appointment with EESH. You can book an appointment with Juan Michael. We're about to put that up. So you can start booking appointments with me as well. We're going to be putting out free content so that you can take advantage and learn along the way.
Because
if you're not ready,
knowledge is power, and
applied
knowledge is power, and it's time to take back the power and control into our own hands and lives.
Applied knowledge is power. Because what is the point
of having
of knowing, right? So let's say if you know how to make $1 million, but you don't have $1 million, what does knowing how to make $1 million, how does that serve you? It doesn't serve you at all, right? And so, but if you know how to make $1 million and you go make $1 million, then you have applied that knowledge. And so that knowledge is now wisdom, which is now power. Applied knowledge is power. So, because when you don't apply it, you don't have power. You don't apply that power. You don't apply that leverage within your life.
Then you're ultimately just powerless with knowledge.
You're powerless with knowledge. You know a whole lot. You're a book. Like, you're a book. You know a whole lot, but you don't do nothing with it, right? And I'm tired of being a book, and I'm here to be a movie. So I'm here to tell you everything that I've learned.
That we have learned
along the way.
We learned it together and separately at the same time.
We
went through healing journeys together at the same time, but very separately. And honestly, yeah, like if
you're depressed, anxious,
if you're not working and putting efforts, and applying this knowledge and information into turning into the greatest version of yourself, it's like, well, what kind of version are you creating then? What kind of version are you being then if you're not the greatest version of yourself? Mediocre self?
Your mediocre self?
Angry self?
Obsessed self?
A demonized self? Like
the black sheep of the family self? And it's like, there's nothing wrong with being the black sheep. Technically, I'm a black sheep. I'm a black sheep of my family.
But I love it.
But it's like, I've discovered a lot and I've learned a lot along the way. And now I've helped my family heal with what I've learned. Mm-hmm. Like, be the best main character that you could be so that you can help others be the best main character that they can be. And don't complain about a world that is all messed up when your world is all messed up and you won't help fix that. Right? And it's like, yeah, there's all these things going on outside, but let's not focus on that right now. Right now, let's just focus on ourselves. And this is something that kind of got me depressed, is I was always thinking about, like, I'm going to go help the world. I'm going to go save the world, blah, blah, blah. But that's a really big feat and it's very difficult to do that. But what I realized is that, you know what, maybe I can't change the world, but I can change myself. And by changing myself, I can change my world. And by changing my world, I change my whole world, essentially. And if enough people do that, we change the whole world, right? If enough people focus on themselves so that they can be the best main characters that they can be and be compassionate and empathetic towards others and decent human beings, then we can create a world that we're all proud of. We can create heaven on earth. Just like a lot of people now say that there's a hell on earth, we can easily create a heaven on earth, just as easily as we can create a hell on earth, right? So how can we change our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, so that we can make the best out of the life that we have while we're here, so that we can have a really great time, right? All the time with everybody and just have a really great time. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you become the best main character that you can be. If you're in a dark place, and you need some help, let us know. We're here to help you out. Take the first step. We were there. Become aware. Learn what you don't know about yourself. Learn about yourself, right? So yeah, that's what we're here to do. We're the Desert Consulting. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming to the first tea talk.
I'm all done with tea.
I'm all done with my tea too.
Yay!
I'm done with my tea. Thank you for coming to our tea talk. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace and blessings, yes, and thank you.
Peace and blessings. Yes, and thank you.